What if I told you there's a country in the heart of Europe where fairy tales didn't just inspire the castles, they became the castles? We're talking turrets rising out of the fog, moats and drawbridges that still work, chapels with ceilings dipped in gold, and legends. Oh, the legends of cursed knights, ghostly white ladies, and dragons sleeping in stone cellars below. The Czech Republic is home to over 2,000 castles, more than virtually any other country on Earth. And today, we're counting down the 12 most breathtaking, most magical, most unmissable of them all. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll be booking a flight. The Czech Republic, or Czechia, sits right in the middle of Central Europe, bordered by Germany, Austria, Poland, and Slovakia. And thanks to centuries of Holy Roman emperors, powerful noble families, and an extraordinary Gothic and Baroque building tradition, this small country ended up with a castle for what feels like every village. These aren't just nice old buildings. These are the kind of places where you walk through the gate, and your brain genuinely cannot process that this is real life. Number 12. Kokořín Castle. We begin with one of the most mysterious and mythologically rich castles in Bohemia, Kokořín Castle, tucked deep inside a protected nature reserve north of Prague. Kokorín was built in the first half of the 14th century, but its most dramatic chapter came after the 30 Years' War, when Emperor Ferdinand added it to what was grimly known as the Cursed Castles list. By imperial decree, Kokorín was forbidden from being restored. For centuries, it crumbled in its beautiful, melancholic ruin. It wasn't until the early 1900s that the ban was finally lifted and restoration began. Kokorín is one of the very few castles in the Czech Republic that is privately owned and still open to the public, with original artwork, weaponry, and ceramic decorations filling its rooms. The cylindrical defense tower is the true star, dramatically taller than the rest of the castle, offering views across a valley that looks entirely unchanged since medieval times. Number 11. Litomyšl Castle. Castle number 11 is technically more of a chateau, but what a chateau. Litomyšl Castle is one of the largest Renaissance buildings in the entire Czech Republic and a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1999. Every surface of its exterior is covered in sgraffito, a Renaissance technique where layers of plaster are scratched away to create intricate patterns and figures. The effect is extraordinary. The whole building looks hand-engraved. The castle originated as a medieval fortress, but was rebuilt in the second half of the 16th century in the Italian Renaissance style. Over the centuries, it passed through the hands of several aristocratic families, each leaving their own architectural fingerprints. Litomyšl is also famous as the birthplace of Bedřich Smetana, the father of Czech classical music, and hosts an international opera festival in its Baroque theater every year. Less visited than the Bohemian giants further west, Litomyšl rewards travelers willing to venture deeper into eastern Bohemia. Number 10. Červená Lhota. Červená Lhota, whose name literally means red Lhota, is believed to have originated as a Gothic fortress. The distinctive red-painted Renaissance exterior you see today dates largely from the 16th century. A bright red chateau, perched on a rocky island in the middle of a lake, connected to the shore by a single stone bridge. Surrounded by the reflective waters of an artificial lake in South Bohemia, it is consistently ranked among the most photographed castles in the entire country. The interior matches the fairy tale exterior. Period furniture, painted ceilings, and an intimate scale that makes you feel like you've stepped into a private home from another century. Located in South Bohemia, Červená Lhota is within easy reach of Trebon and makes for a perfect pairing on any South Bohemia road trip. Number 9. Bezděz Castle. For something more dramatic, more wild, we head north to Bezděz Castle, a Gothic fortress perched on a volcanic hilltop that rises almost theatrically from the flat Bohemian landscape below. Bezděz was built in the 13th century by King Ottokar II of Bohemia, one of the most powerful rulers of medieval Central Europe. He built it on a volcanic plug, an ancient lava column, so sheer and commanding that enemies would simply give up looking at it. The hike up to Bezděz is part of the experience, through quiet forest, along rocky paths, until the ancient gatehouse suddenly looms above you. The views from the top are extraordinary: lakes, forests, and the distant horizon of northern Bohemia. Czech writers, poets, and painters have been drawing inspiration from this ruined fortress for centuries. Bezděz is a UNESCO monument and one of the finest examples of medieval royal architecture in Central Europe. Number 8. Bouzov Castle. Now we cross into Moravia, the eastern half of the Czech Republic, and the castles here have a different personality. Wilder, more medieval, more theatrical, and Bouzov is the king of them all. The castle dates to 1317, when it was built to guard a major trade route from Olomouc. Its most fascinating chapter came when it was acquired by the Order of the Teutonic Knights, the legendary crusading order. After a devastating fire in the 16th century left it in ruins, it was dramatically restored between 1896 and the early 1900s into its current breathtaking neo-Gothic form. Turrets at every angle, gargoyles peering from the parapets, a working drawbridge over a genuine moat, and a 190-foot watchtower at the center that can be seen from miles away. The interior is equally theatrical, furnished with custom-made pieces from the private collection of Eugen von Habsburg, alongside paintings, sculptures, chandeliers, and seals from the Teutonic Order. Bouzov has appeared in dozens of Czech films and television productions. It is, quite simply, the Czech Republic's most cinematic castle. Number 7. Pernštejn Castle. Deep in the forests of the Bohemian Moravian highlands stands a castle that has never, not once in nearly 800 years, been conquered. This is Pernštejn Castle. Founded between 1270 and 1285 by the Lords of Medlov, Pernštejn was the seat of one of Bohemia's most powerful noble families. Its strategic position, high on a rock above the village of Nedbedis, surrounded by deep excavated ditches and multiple rings of walls, made it militarily impenetrable. No attacking force ever broke through. It carries a striking nickname, the Marble Castle, named not for its material, but for the marble-like veined stone framing its doors and windows, which catches the light in the most remarkable way. Recent renovations revealed something extraordinary hidden beneath centuries of plaster, 16th century paintings and inscriptions covering the walls, now preserved and on display. Walking through Pernštejn, you're looking at art that was sealed away for 400 years. The castle also comes with a ghost story. The White Lady is said to be the spirit of a chambermaid cursed by a monk for her vanity. According to legend, women who look into the castle's mirrors risk losing their beauty within a year. Number 6. Křivoklát Castle. Castle number 6 is one of the oldest and most historically significant royal castles in the entire Czech Republic. Křivoklát dates back to the 12th century and served for generations as a beloved hunting seat of Bohemian kings. Located deep within the central Bohemia forests, Křivoklát was never heavily romanticized or rebuilt in the 19th century. What you walk through here is genuinely Gothic, original towers, an extraordinary royal chapel with ribbed vaulting, and a dungeon that served as one of the largest in Central Europe, holding some of history's most notable prisoners. The castle's library is one of the hidden gems of Czech cultural history, holding some of the oldest volumes in the country. And the views from the tower, over 50 kilometers of unbroken forest, are among the most peaceful in all of Bohemia. Number 5. Lednice Castle. At number 5, we arrive at something almost impossibly grand. Lednice Castle and its surrounding landscape, known as the Lednice Baltis Cultural Landscape, was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is known by a fitting nickname, the Garden of Europe. The Liechtenstein family spent centuries transforming this corner of South Moravia into their personal paradise, constructing classical temples, Gothic chapels, a triumphal arch, a Chinese pavilion, and 200 square kilometers of design landscape stretching across lakes, woodlands, and manicured grounds. The castle itself is a neo-Gothic masterpiece. White, slender-towered, and beautifully carved. But the true surprise of Lednice rises from the middle of the park, a 60-meter minaret, built in 1802 as a garden folly by a Liechtenstein who returned inspired from travels through the Ottoman world. You can climb it for views across the entire estate. Boat rides across the ornamental lake are a must. And the castle interior, with its extraordinary carved wooden ceilings and art collections, is among the finest in Central Europe. Number 4. Karlštejn Castle. Now we return to Bohemia, and to a castle built not for defense or pleasure, but for something far more sacred. Karlštejn Castle was built by Holy Roman Emperor Charles IV beginning in 1348 with one purpose: to protect the imperial crown jewels and holy relics of the most powerful monarch in medieval Europe. It is only 30 kilometers southwest of Prague, making it the most visited castle outside the capital. The castle is built on 3 levels, each more sacred than the last. At the summit sits the Great Tower, housing the Chapel of the Holy Cross, its walls literally studded with semi-precious stones, amethysts, jasper, and carnelian. Only the emperor, the archbishop, and a handful of trusted nobles were ever permitted inside. The chapel holds 129 painted panels by the medieval master Theodoric, the largest collection of his work anywhere in the world. The light bounces off the gemstone walls in a way that feels genuinely otherworldly. Though a major restoration in 1910 altered its exterior, Karlštejn remains one of the most beloved and most dramatic castles in the Czech Republic. Number 3. Hluboká Castle. We are in the top 3 now, and we begin with what many consider the single most beautiful castle in the entire Czech Republic. Hluboká nad Vltavou. White stucco walls, elaborate turrets at every roofline, perfectly manicured grounds cascading down a hillside above the Vltava River. It looks like someone took Windsor Castle and made it even more romantic. That is not a coincidence. The Schwarzenberg family attended the coronation of Queen Victoria in 1838, were captivated by Windsor Castle, and returned home determined to rebuild their South Bohemian seat in the same spirit. The result, completed across the mid-19th century, is this 140-room neo-Gothic masterpiece with 11 towers and an English landscape park. The interior is astonishing: 16th to 18th century paintings by European masters, tapestries, a library of thousands of volumes, and carved wooden ceilings of breathtaking craftsmanship. The adjacent Schwarzenberg Riding School now houses one of the finest art collections in Bohemia. Hluboká sees hundreds of thousands of visitors a year. Every single one of them is right to come. Number 2. Český Krumlov Castle. At number 2, we reach arguably the most famous fairy tale setting in the Czech Republic, not just the castle, but the entire world that surrounds it. The medieval town of Český Krumlov curves around a dramatic bend of the Vltava River, and above it, on a rocky promontory, sits the second largest castle complex in the country, dating back to the 13th century. The castle's most iconic feature is its beautifully painted round tower, frescoes that have survived since the Renaissance, still vivid against the stone after 500 years. Over the centuries, the castle passed through the hands of the Rosenbergs, the Habsburgs, and the Schwarzenbergs, each dynasty adding another layer of grandeur. The castle covers 27 acres. There are 40 buildings, 5 castle courts, royal apartments, a Renaissance ballroom, a chapel of St. George, and the only surviving Baroque theater in the Czech Republic, built in 1682, with all its original stage machinery, painted sets, and costumes still intact. The entire historic center of Český Krumlov, town and castle together, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It receives over 1 million visitors a year. And unlike many overvisited places, it absolutely earns every one of them. Number 1. Prague Castle. And at number 1, Prague Castle. Founded in the 9th century by Prince Bořivoj, Prague Castle has served for over 1,000 years as the seat of Bohemian kings, Holy Roman emperors, and today as the official office of the President of the Czech Republic. Stretching over 70,000 square meters across a ridge above the Vltava River, it is one of the largest castle complexes in the entire world. Its architectural timeline spans Romanesque chapels, Gothic cathedrals, Renaissance palaces, and Baroque gardens, 12 centuries of history layered one on top of another. The anchor of the complex is St. Vitus Cathedral, begun in 1344, with the last stone laid in 1929. 600 years of construction. The result is one of the greatest Gothic cathedrals on the European continent. Inside, the Wenceslas Chapel is sheathed in semi-precious stones and medieval frescoes. The crown jewels of Bohemia are stored here, displayed to the public only on rare state occasions. The Old Royal Palace, the Basilica of St. George, and the famous Golden Lane, a row of tiny medieval houses that once housed castle guards and alchemists, are all within the complex. Franz Kafka briefly lived in one of the Golden Lane houses. That detail alone tells you the kind of history embedded in every cobblestone here. Stand at the castle terrace and look out over the red rooftops of Malá Strana and the bridges of the Vltava. This is one of those views that changes you a little, that does something to your understanding of what human beings have been capable of building. From a 9th century princely seat to the living heart of a modern democracy, Prague Castle is not just the greatest castle in the Czech Republic. It is one of the great wonders of Europe. Kokořín and its cursed history in the Forest Valley. Litomyšl with its sgraffito Renaissance walls. Červená Lhota rising from its island lake. Bezděz on its volcanic peak. Bouzov, the medieval fortress that looks like a Disney fever dream. Pernštejn, unconquered in 800 years. Křivoklát, the royal hunting retreat. Lednice and its Garden of Europe. Karlštejn, fortress of the Holy Roman Emperor's treasures. Hluboká, possibly the most beautiful castle on the continent. Český Krumlov, the UNESCO fairy tale town. And Prague Castle, 1,000 years of living history above one of Europe's greatest cities. The Czech Republic is a country that has been building extraordinary things for over 1,000 years, and much of it has survived, preserved, and open to anyone willing to show up and look. If this video helped you plan a trip, hit the like button, subscribe for more travel content, and drop in the comments, which of these 12 would you visit first?